All right, so we are getting this set up in order to start our experiment. And you can see that I have the well plate placed on the piece of blank white paper. I'm going to take the lid off. Obviously, we can't do the chemistry inside the wells with the lid on. And now we're going to follow the diagram that's shown in the instructions to make sure that we are putting things in the correct place. So my well A1 is in my upper left-hand corner here, and I am supposed to place 1 micro spoonful or mini spoonful of the solid salicylic acid into that well. So I'm going to carefully rip this open. Open it up, if I can. Come on. It's hard with gloves on, but make sure you keep your gloves on. There we go. All right, so there's a bunch of powder in there, and I'm just gonna get that much and put it in well A1. Okay, and I'm gonna set that powder aside, hoping not to spill it. I'm gonna clean this really quickly in my sink. And it doesn't have to be perfectly dry, but I did want to not cross-contaminate. The next well, A2, is going to be the acetylsalicylic acid sample. I'm going to rip that one open and see if I can pop that open. And again, there's a white powder in there. I'm going to take a spoonful of that and get most of that in the well. A little bit will stick to the spoon because the spoon was a little wet. That's also okay. And now I'm going to rinse that one more time. The next step is to place some willow bark in A6. So that's the big packet of willow bark. And so if you look inside there, you'll actually see pieces of bark. So I'm gonna put it right into my gloved hands. And I'm gonna put a lot in there because I want to try to extract as much as I possibly can from it. So I am putting about 2/3 of it full of the bark. I want to have room for the ethanol that's coming next. I got some accidentally in 2 wells, A3 and A5, but those don't need anything in them, so I think it's fine that there's a little bit of bark in those other wells. If I had gotten them in wells that I'm going to be using, I would bother removing that, but I'm not going to for now. Okay, next step is to add the liquid reagents. So the first thing is we're going to take the ethanol, and we're going to fill well A6 with ethanol to completely cover the willow bark. So I'm just going to squirt. It's like an eyedropper. Just keep squirting until it's really covering that willow bark. So it's mostly full with the ethanol, and I think that's good. And I'm going to make note of the time. And so my clock says 10:10 a.m., so it needs to soak for at least 30 minutes. So I'm going to let that soak until 10:40 a.m. to make sure that it's sat for at least 30 minutes. The next thing I'm going to do is place 15 drops of ethanol. So the same solution, this time in well B1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Does it have to be exactly 15? Of course not. Just around that much. We're also going to put 15 in well B2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and then we're going to put 10 drops of the iron 3 chloride solution in well B3. So remember, that's the yellowy solution. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That one's harder to squeeze. Okay, and finally, we are going to add 10 drops of the 3 molar acetic acid to well B4. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, I've already placed this on the white sheet of paper, and you have added the ethanol to well A6 containing the wheel bark. We're going to let that sit for 30 minutes, and while that sits for 30 minutes, we're going to move on to the pH and iron chloride tests.